Blessings, family. Sister Anjali, I hope you're doing well because that is your nature as the original people. That's who we are. First, I have to start this share by saying I think it'll be short, but then again, I am not going by time, going by the amount of data that I have to share. I mean, nothing untoward to anyone suffering from such a potentially just annihilating condition such as cancer. However, in terms of the, messages, the signals that different Black people send out there, they're also terminal to us as a people in very insidious and effective ways, which I'm going to cover in the general theme of what I'm discussing, which is Mia Love. I can't call her a sister because she is not perpetuating our nation into more populated strength. One and only wasn't kidding when he said, be fruitful and multiply. That is such a us defense that I see it every single day. Is we need each other, and we need each other in vast numbers. There isn't an overpopulation of butterflies. As soon as, resources become scarce, then people just by the circumstances no longer have as many children. So there are checks and balances that are just reality that come in to mitigate the size of families. In the meantime, we need more of them beautiful fully black babies. That's my issue with Mia. But first, let's cover her condition. And gratefully, she's still alive. I really don't wish harm to her or any of her family members, to anyone. I feel for all human beings, especially when they're ailing. I'm just here for Black us and to give as much of the data of a current strategic genocide that's being waged against us through the CMOS, through the radioactive rice, through everything. But it's targeted at Black us specifically because of the different just systemic actions I've seen, such as CMOS being promoted by, Essence magazine and people like Erica Badu and folks who don't give a damn about us. They're suddenly promoting something that is rippling with radioactive isotopes. And I even had an incident with someone who, out of respect for their parentage, I won't mention them specifically, but they're promoting CMOS, this person, and I gently, really kindly tried to remind them to stop doing that, and suddenly their thumbnail changed to this dark, creepy looking goat, and they started featuring the CMOS prominently. Before it was like the last thing that they covered. Maybe they were trying to hide it. But suddenly the CMOS went prominent with this creepy goat freaking thumbnail. So I was like, okay, I know who you batting for. And I just unsubscribed, unfollowed them. And so it's targeted. And the white anti-nukers, salute and respect to them. They will never, ever investigate how this is targeted towards Black us. Protecting our people is just simply logical. It's sane. It makes I don't, get folks. Just let's go back to me, okay? America's first Black female Republican is in Congress, is dying of highly aggressive cancer. And so when I see that you're a Republican, when I see that you're a Democrat, and you are vocal and you've run according to whatever party has told you you qualify as one of them in order to be successful at, I know you're out of your mind. Both parties at this point have left no hint, They've just boldly come out pictorially as being all about destruction and chaos and anti-family and definitely anti-black family. I never forget the article from the New York Post where they were like, oh, it seems like the most successful tactic a black woman can take is to marry a non-black man, or as with Biden, just to friggin' be a black female lesbian. And especially if you're with a white, like beast controller. I'm just saying, because for them, in a way, being with us is a form of bestiality. I know that we're not beasts. I can't say any more, but at the same time, I'm just saying that for them, when they get with us, it's not a come up type of thing. It has its own pathology that I'm not going to cover. And the reason why I'm discussing it with this woman, Mia Love, is because there she is. Whenever I see the flaxenated hair, it just looks ludicrous. I'm not even going to preface that anymore. You look like you're out of your mind. I'm just saying what I, conclude. If you conclude differently, go right ahead. But here's one of the reasons why it's going to be difficult for me not to put my passion for Black us into reporting on something that's horrible. I surely wish this woman could survive, but even her own daughter, her own non-black daughter, has said that the treatments that Mia's receiving for glioblastoma, GBM, it's prognosis for it right here. Glioblastoma multiforme, GBM, is generally, the prognosis is generally poor, with a median survival of about 10 to 14 months after diagnosis. Only about 5% of patients survive 5 years or more, making it one of the most aggressive forms of brain cancer. My own father passed away, and he had a glioblastoma. I didn't know enough to know that there were different versions of it. But as soon as he started receiving the chemotherapy, and it was situated in a portion of his brain, so they didn't recommend surgery, hallelujah. But still, I noted, even in my ignorance back then, that it was directly after the chemotherapy that all his strength went away, because it destroys all your cells in an effort to kill the cancer cells. In my conclusion, it is the most backwards ideology. Talk about politics. It is the most backwards ideology for targeting cancer, because cancer cells grow faster than every other cell in your body. They're masters. They're your cells in rebellion, and they go into an anaerobic state of being as opposed to aerobic. That means they stop operating off of oxygen. They operate like bacteria, predatorial bacteria in your body, but your body has a hard time recognizing them because they are made with your own DNA. So that's why they'll grow faster than everything else around them. And with the chemotherapy, they're just hoping that they kill off enough of them so that the tumor is taken care of. But in the meantime, a lot of people who die when they get the chemotherapy, it's because their systems just can't take the removal of the very healthy cells that they function with. These cancerous cells are if it's cancer in your liver, it's no longer operating as your liver. It's just, we're for ourselves. And so Mia has gotten conventional treatments, along with, they put it first and most prominently, just unorthodox treatment. But she's doing that in conjunction with the chemotherapy and the radiation. Now, the thing what you want to do to treat cancer is never get cancer. Because it is a difficult diagnosis, a difficult condition. That's when your body is just, these cells are in rebellion to you. They're mad at you. And there are methods to cause apoptosis, which is cancer cell death. But once you have a whole tumor, that's potentially hundreds of millions of cells that are in full force rebellion against you. Get all that stuff in there is difficult. There are methods, but the very best one is to not get the cancer in the first place. And so with Mia being a Republican, being in Utah, that's a whole nother mindset of blackness, and you're with a white man and you have non-black children, you have almost no just impulse, nature. You could be born with a nature, but then you can superimpose their nature on top of yourself. You have no impulse, no ability to extricate yourself from their lies. And so that you will know of the many different ways to not get cancer, and then also, if you happen to get it, because every single day in even a healthy body, 10,000 cancer cells are born, just one cell. And your fully functional immune system goes in and just says, oh, get out of here, you freaking rebel. You think you're going to take over this body? No, we got enough of what we need to kick you out. Okay, I'm just saying, right? And so once you get to that tumor stage, that's a problem. And then you go to these modalities developed by Western society that are not based on their nature of really giving a damn about people. Because if you look at their whole society, it is vampiristic in just operating off of the grief of whole huge populations. There are no Aboriginal people out here where you could have gone and found, oh no, this is the poor section of our village. We ignore these people. We watch them starve and we're, oh well. No, that's not what's happening. When you are operating within the most conducive life and more abundantly possible. There's no robber barons around who are just going to steal everything and screw everybody else. That's the cancer cell. And their society operates in a thought-born cancerous type of regard. And so if you are caught up in believing they are better, then you're not going to realize that for all sorts of scientific reasons, you would never want to do this to your own children. I'm not saying now that they're here, welcome, all the best to you. There are biracials who do wake up, but the percentage is very low. I'm just saying they tend to move on to whiter, and for them, they think it's brighter, and it's nothing of the sort. Because even white people, they won't do any further explanation of this, but common supplement taken by millions of Americans, white people, reverses DNA damage caused by poor sleep. What is this? Well, some of you may have guessed it's melatonin. Melatonin, which actually for them taken in large quantities, I imagine even for us taken in large quantities, can be harmful. Right? I'm not saying it's, because a lot of these different studies, and this is about a study that found that, not only does melatonin enhance the depth of your sleep, but it also repairs DNA damage. In my book, Furnace of Affliction, I explain how melatonin is created in abundance the more melanated you are. And even though being a black person is not a cure for cancer. It's certainly not a cure for what radiation is throwing at us right now. So we're dying in massive numbers. But at the same time, if you are feeding your melanin appropriately and living a righteous life where your whole spirit is in harmony with what we're supposed to do as grown-ups, then your melanin is powerful and it's going to absorb the might of the sun and of everything you're taking in, so that at nighttime when you are sleeping, during the hours where melatonin is secreted by your pineal gland at the most pronounced levels, which is from 9 to 1 a.m., and then you got a melatonin going on that will go on in there. It'll clean out radiation. It'll clean out dead skin cells. You could just see it. And we're not the ones up here screaming, oh my God, these wrinkles. What am I going to do about it? Right? It's not a cure-all. And that's why I come here, because I don't want us to have these Superman concepts about simply being alive and needing to do the right thing by our bodies. But at the same time, the science is out there. If these people are not sharing it, trust and believe, folks like Mia are never going to look for it, even though she still has a chance. You always have a chance until you don't. And that's when the graves got you. Okay? Ain't no black power fist raising up from behind the grave for either pro-black people or black, and you are out of your mind thinking that these folks are coming to your rescue. And that reminds me of one of the methods that they utilize to keep everyone just sort of roped in. I mean, these guys are just epic liars, and the whole roping in the snake and all the rest of it, that's coming up too. But there's this, both a documentary and a docudrama about this woman who lived in Australia and lied about having brain cancer and a glioblastoma, and which, as I said, is almost considered you aren't going to make it. All right? She fooled all of Australia. She had, I don't know what social media account, but she had almost 1 million followers. They say millions. I don't know. I'm not interested. She was a patent liar. And she disappointed and probably hurt so many white people who just, when they see white people, they're so easily beguiled by their own. And so they saw she looked sincere, and she was just, effervescent, lying all the time that she had cancer. She had nothing of the sort. One of these big publishing companies hired her to write a book for which she got millions of dollars. And I was, watching both the documentary and a little bit of the docudrama. I couldn't get through the docudrama, and I'll show you why. But, and she wrote a book, a recipe book, which, they promoted it so that it made her millions and millions of dollars, I imagine. She, it's a sad thing, but she's in hiding or something like that. But also, when I looked around and I saw different people in the documentary with tattoos, and one person with a tattoo that said, I blame Ebony, and I'm like looking and saying, how many Ebonies do you know in Australia? And certain little signals now that I'm very tip to that they put out there. I wonder if she wasn't just generally hired, because what they attached to her they're so happy to call her out as a fraud, and I think she should be called out as a fraud. But the thing is I'm just wondering if they're not using this to attach a confidence in the medical industry, so that they wind up looking like, oh yeah, you got to go to the Western doctors because they only hope you have. So in a scene from the docudrama, this is me, whomever, I don't even remember her, Belle or something or other. She's having this secretive conversation with someone who is representing a real victim of her lies, because in her book she didn't put any real hearty information. It was mostly recipes, okay? And the pictures I saw of what she was cooking, I was like, that's not what you should be eating if you have cancer. But these people will be addicted to these toxic things that Western society peddles, and they don't want to give it up. When you're addicted, you don't want to give it up. I know how long it took me to step away from so many of those just like filled with chemical poisons foods. Yet I know that if, mercy that I never have cancer, I do eat so that I can stop that from happening. And I know about the radiation, so I have mitigation processes and chelation processes. But still, if I did, there all sorts of things I would have to change, even for myself. And I eat so healthy at this point in time that people, if you overnight had to do my diet, you would be so mad at me. All right, so this woman came up to her, she said, oh my goodness, it's you. And she said, and they found out that, she admitted that she had both her breasts removed for breast cancer, which I had read, and I didn't know I had need to copy everything. Nuclear scientists said, one of the only things we found that just causes breast cancer on a large scale is radiation. Okay, and so the whole mammogram thing is blasting radiation through you. When you have cancer, it's blasting radiation through you. That's not good. Okay, radiation is harmful at every single level. Even cell phone EMF wave radiation, which is called non-ionizing, that's harmful. Well, a mammogram, they're using, I do believe in the machine itself, they have cesium. Don't quote me on that one, but they're using genuine radiation. And they're sending out from that the waves that are ionizing. Your cell phones don't begin to operate using gamma wave emitting, beta wave emitting, alpha wave emitting radiation, because that would just blast your brain apart. Whereas the microwave radiation, it jostles your cells. That's why it's legal to have a cell phone for them to, and also for them to manufacture it. But still, the cell phones cause massive damage just after talking on the sucker for 2 minutes. And so they're like, oh no, you need to keep coming in for the mammograms. Thermograms are better at diagnosing, because that's just heat, ambient heat, right? It's a thoroughly lower level of energy, right? Because you can't start a nuclear reaction going up on your stove. That's not going to happen. However, if you just had a bucket of, or a dime's worth, forget it, a dime's worth of cesium, and it was just sitting right there, it would kill you and everybody on your block. Okay? And so they just, maybe have one seed or whatever they call it in those mammogram machines. You don't want that blasting at you every single year. Right? And so that's one of the ways that, breast cancer gets started. But so she said here, I asked my oncologist about diet. Her eyes glazed over. And here's where they attach the truth to this snake. She says, how can they have so little education when it comes to nutrition, right? This was something I had said, I don't know, maybe about 7 years back when I started doing more research about the medical industry and why they were just like misguiding so many people. I was shocked to find out that literally if they get a couple classes in real nutrition, it's extraordinary. And so for her to say this immediately, whoa, I don't know if the next picture, oh, they have to have a black woman up in there. I'll say more about that. But then here comes the snake. right? Roping it all in so that you continue to be like me in love. Be like a democratic black person also, where you're just going to believe their lies because you're just so beguiled. You can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see these people for who they are and what they're doing. I'm not saying there are good white people out there. Most people are just surface thinkers. And so they don't want to hurt anybody. They want to do the best. They just happen to think that whiteism is the best. And it's just smoke and mirror lies. Right? Because it's not about saving the masses. It's about profiting and benefiting off of the cluelessness of those you use to make crazy riches. And so this reminded me of, this is going to be funny, okay, of the article that I had highlighted in one of my videos where they were going over the Cotswolds, or the Cotswolds, I don't know how you pronounce it, and the cocaine problem. And on Daily Mail, they had this AI generated image where there's a black woman in the middle of all of this. So I had gone to look up the Cotswolds, and I was just like, ain't no black people living up in there. You could go look it up for yourself, what the place looks like. And I was in shock. Here's the article. Here in the Cotswolds, every Christmas is white. Cotswolds is white because all the middle class women are snorting cocaine at parties, and I'm truly shocked by what these school moms get up to. So when I looked at the photo, I was like, why you got this snake all up in here? Right? This is what their entire macro society and even their micro society is about. Because I know me personally, I'm not here to lie to you. I'm here to share the truth. And I wish nobody any harm. I don't believe you deserve death because you're a swirler. I hope you can wake up about it. And if not, I know I'm going to shout you out. I'm not calling me a love, a swirler, but simply being an integrationist, an interracialist, simply being Negro-Pan is going to make you promote whiteism yourself, and you won't even know it. You know, like when people, you got smoke around you. What are you going to catch all the smoke and get it into one Fukushima radioactive bottle? No, you're not. Right? So with this article here, which, remember this, the headline, I must have searched an hour in order to find that image. Maybe half an hour, okay. But when I went initially to Daily Mail to find it, I suddenly found that they've put up a paywall now. So certain articles, like they had one where here's the real reason airplanes are crashing so much. And that you had to pay a subscription fee for it. I'm not about to be paying the Daily Mail to lie to me. All right? So when I went looking retroactively, this article, you have to pay for it. Here in the Cotswolds, every Christmas is white. Same article, but you need to subscribe now in order to get the photo even. Because they are, in my firm conclusion, with Daily Mail, they pretty much almost admitted it, with that photo, with their support for the Freemasons, they are satanic, right? They're not about telling the truth. They're about roping you in. My apologies, because it's a new edit app, and I was squashing the snake's head, which is kind of good with my thumbnail, but there you go. That's it. Right? Which for me, it's not even funny that they have this black woman here with the whole banana thing in the background. I did the share about the bananas, and it's simply science. It's not because you could predict. It's human behavior. They're the devil. They have no choice with Fukushima But to make everything so distracting, and I shared a little clip of a fashion show, Satan is the biggest distraction there is. And they hope we're spooky enough that we're going, oh, Satan is the devil. No, it's them. It's nothing supernatural, other than there are supernatural aspects of it, but Allah's in charge. He's saying, devil ain't. Devil's a nothingness. He's dragging you down into having faith in what winds up being not protected by the one and only. And also, what's up with the bananas? Like, I don't know too many Aboriginal Australians, beautiful people. They used to be such a wonderful deep blackness, but they do not have this hair. They do not have curly coils. And this is an Australian just crime that happened. They want to, oh, she went internationally, but it's based in Australia. So for them to have the bananas also, it's like monkey insults again on top of just go crazy because these people are the target. I don't know. She looked biracial to me. I'm just saying, the girl in the picture here. But these people, they never freaking stop. So all the best to Mia. As I said, her daughter said that the therapy is no longer working for her. I'm just saying, all right? But also, I just look and I'm like, she's deep in that beguilement, and she doesn't even know, and I don't think there will ever be a way for her to extricate herself from that. Between the hair, and Dr. She and I had a wonderful morning conversation about how everybody, when they do these books about advice, they're front and prominent on the center, like, I'm going to tell you, I'm your rescue, I'm your savior, I'm your Jesus. Of course they're going to use Cynthia Erivo, the friggin', oh, let me calm it down. But I'm just like, who's the Akata now, Cynthia? As Jesus, all right? Because she's all twisted out. And come on now, the people who we can't mention, they killed Jesus originally, not the Leonardo da Vinci's gay uncle Jesus, but I'm just saying, right? They're going to put the worst out there and plaster it as that, because if there ever was a Jesus, he was black us, right? It wasn't just one, it was just simply who we are, our nature. And so they want to depict our nature as depraved and despicable. So this whole, I know everything, and I'm so grateful she wrote a book. I'm not against her. I'm against them destroying us. Okay? And I can't help her. But qualified. That is a really huge thing to say. Qualified to do what? I would never put my face up on my books. Like, I'm that. No, I'm not. I'm just human. I make mistakes all the time. I'm utterly imperfect. In my book, Furnace, I said when someone comes up with something that's more scientifically proven than what I have, please go with that. Okay? But in the meantime, don't put up dogma. Don't put up, like whenever they want to fact check something, they don't offer facts. They just offer pillorying, where they'll just, say, oh, those conspiracy theorists. This woman is not experiencing anything as a result of a theory. It's simply the fact. I don't know the why of her having this, but all I know is that since Fukushima popped off, cancer rates are soaring. Right? Right there. 2011. Bam! It goes up. And they never mention at all. They never mention that parallel occurrence. And then the increase. This is just the time it took for people to just keep on eating. They don't know. Right? And it doesn't just cause colon cancer. They'll fixate on one particular item and ignore all the rest. So you just think it's colon cancer. When no, it's not just cancer even. Anything that can go wrong in the body is going to cause it. Diabetes, heart attacks. Right? Your liver just destroying itself trying to keep up with the deluge. right? All that Fukushima has been is simply a marker so that you could understand the properties of man-made radiation. And they've done their darndest to equally distribute the die-off so that they had the WIP nuclear powered storage plant, whatever the heck, that erupted out a whole cascade of plutonium over here. And when you look at the old, when they would the old cancer maps, before they started changing things, because they lie, they're snakes. I'm not calling every white person a snake, no. But I'm just saying the society by nature is dangerous. Because over here, that's what you're seeing. And over here, she's in Utah. That's Nevada. I think, yeah, that's Utah. Right? That radiation just came, got deflected by the Rocky Mountains, which are like right around over here. And then it's going to filter down. It's going to come down on the rain. Well, if there's more radiation over here, the rain coming down over there is going to have more radiation too. Simply because of dynamics, even though Fukushima has covered the entire globe. And now it's in all the oceans. So go on over to 25,000yearcycle.org, where this is, it's the most healing website there is. I'm not bragging because we're not perfect, but ain't nobody else gonna warn you about that radiation. And Dr. Shi is tireless. I mean, the man researches modalities, methods to make his formulas absolutely precision intense. There's no filler in what he puts together, right? And the ingredients that he uses are just top of the line, the finest stuff that it's just like, I can't tell you what he puts in it, but I'm just saying in terms of where he gets it from and how he does the research so he gets the finest ingredients. You're not going to find that anywhere else, right? And here in Ajali Shabazz, you click on that and you're going to find all of our other products that specifically target the radiation, and especially definitely furnace of affliction, healing radiation damage to the human body. That is something that it's not just my opinion. When in my research, I would constantly run across studies done in terms of the radiation's effect, where they found that these different products could chelate it out, mitigate the damage, and keep your body strong. I don't know. I am not going to get up here and say that, it's going to stop everything. But if you can prevent the cancer from coming, then you don't have to find out that I suspect, based on my research, that there is no stage of cancer that cannot be changed so that it doesn't take you out completely. It's just you gotta be up to go into that level of healing. And a lot of us, we're not, but it is possible. And so this book is to address both sides of that condition, and so that we have a chance. I know Allah is real. So I know He didn't put us in the middle of this so that we would become aware and then there's no way to heal ourselves. The one factor in all of this is our obedience, our submission to Him. Because He recognized the devil. Oh, we still don't understand the devil completely. Otherwise, we wouldn't be enduring what we are. Because he's nothing. He's nothing. We would be sharing this word back and forth so fast that Mia would hear it. And she would believe it. Right? That's the problem. The more you believe the devil, the further you are away from resuscitation, just heaven. All right? All right. Straight black pride is our ownership papers to forever. My best again to Nia. And I love you. I wish all of us strength and healing because we need it right now. This is the warrior age. Peace and blessings.